Hey everyone, what's up? GarageKing here, and today we're going to do a simple oil change on a 2010 Toyota RAV4. Now this is a third generation, so 2006 to 2012 should all be the same. Some of you are probably saying, hey, what is going on? You want to see maybe more technical videos or something of that nature. But every now and then, I like to throw in a nice simple one for folks getting into the trade or for people just trying to do general basic maintenance. So this one, very, very simple. It's just an oil change on a Toyota RAV4. So let's get to it. Let's open up the hood and let's see what we see under that hood. Now would be a quick time to give myself a shameless plug saying, hit the subscribe button. Means a lot to me. Not going to say anymore. Let's keep on. Other than being a little bit dirty, we can see, well, to be honest, not too much. Here's the cover. There's our oil check level, so our dipstick, and there's our filler cap, and we can see the factory recommends 5W30. So really, not a lot to check up top here without taking off this plastic cover. But just to do an oil change, we don't even have to do that, because we're going to fill there and check there. So now let's just go underneath and see if we have to take anything apart. All right, so I'm under the vehicle. Left the wrench on there. We're going to drain it in a second. So 14 mil wrench, that's what's needed to drain. We don't have to take off any plastics. Unlike some Audis, BMWs, other type of cars, you have to take a bunch of stuff off. Not so much on this one. And then if we pan in under here, there is our oil filter. And I'll show you how to get that out. You need a special tool to get that out. You can see the housing right there. And there's two ways to get this out. We can either take this piece out first and drain it, or we can just twist the whole thing off. Depends what you feel like doing. Ooh, that's tight. That is a tight bolt. Someone over-torqued that. What we're going to do now is just put the drain plug in tight. We can still try to get a little bit more out, but we can let the oil run down in the oil pan, and then we'll pull it out again. So I'm not torquing it up, but you got to remember, don't do this if you're going to forget. What some people do, I tell them in the beginning, is just tighten it anyway, just so if you forget, then, you know, at least your drain plug is tight and you don't lose it halfway going down the road. So now let's take out the oil filter. So we're going to slide down here, and we're going to pan in to see the oil filter. Okay, so we can see here's the oil filter. So in order to take the oil filter off, you actually have to have a special tool. And the tool, it's kind of like a cup. It looks like this, and it can actually just fit right on top. And there you go. Now there's two ways to take it off. You can take this out first and drain it, or you can just spin the whole thing off. So either. Some people take this off, drain it. Some people spin the whole oil filter off. For me, what I do is I actually just spin the whole oil filter off. I just find it's faster, and it's actually not that messy to do it this way. So all I'm going to do is put my ratchet in, and someone really tighten this on. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to take my tool off. Make sure you have a glove to catch it, or else you're going to get, I meant catch all the oil, or else you're going to get real dirty hands. I find this is just the faster way to do it. Some people prefer to take this off and drain it that way, and you can do it, but as you can see with my hand, you just, as long as you're wearing gloves and you take it all down, there you go. Okay, so here we have the filter on the bench. We have a new filter. Part number is 9972, so that's a part number. Fram is not paying me to do anything. I'm not promoting it, but anyway, that's the number, 9972. Now, in most of these kits, what you will find is a filter. You'll find this is the thing that drains if we were to take out the bottom, but we never did. Just as a personal note, I usually take mine out every third or fourth oil change, just to, I don't know, just to move it so it doesn't get permanently seasoned there or something, I don't know. And then it comes with some new O-rings. The small one is if you were to take the bottom one out, and that's just a 3/8 drive, really, really easy. And then the large one is we just replace that O-ring right there. So we're just going to pull off this O-ring with a little pick here. There we go, that O-ring is off. We're gonna put our new O-ring on. Oh, it's a very good quality one. Feels almost like silicone one. And then we're gonna pull our filter out. And we're gonna put our new filter in, just like so. And that's all there is to changing it. Now we can just go underneath the vehicle, screw it back in. Now for you, those of you that are actually wondering how this looks when it comes out, I can actually take this out just to show you. Maybe I will. Let's do that just so I can do a full detail and show you how it actually works. All right, so now I'm about to take off the bottom. It's 3/8 drive, so I'm just gonna use my impact gun. Now, normally you would never use an impact gun. The reason I'm using it is I don't really have a way to hold this filter, so with the impact gun, it'll just jar it and take it off. There we go, we took it off. Make a little bit of a mess on the bench here, but that's all right. It's just to show you guys what it's all about. And I'll wipe all this up. So here's the bottom piece that came off, so we can actually just give it a little bit of a wipe, get the dirt off. So we're just gonna give it a wipe like so. And if we look at the bottom of the filter now, we can see there's our O-ring right there. So we can pull the O-ring out. There we go. And I can tell how this one hasn't been taken out here for a bit. It's starting to get a little harder. Anyway, not a big deal. Now, this thing, it's threaded, so you would just turn it in, just like so, when it's on the vehicle, and that'll drain whatever's in the bottom. Now there's nothing in it now because we obviously took it out, and then you take this back out. So that's how that piece works. Just so you're aware, I don't do it all the time. I don't think I really have to, but if someone wants to, I mean, by all means, go for it. So now that we've taken it apart, what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna put our new O-ring back on. So we put our new O-ring there. So now we've replaced it. Just like this. Make sure it's set in there. That's nice. And then what we're gonna do is screw the bottom piece back on. There we go. And I'll tighten this when it's in the car now. So let's go back underneath. Okay, so we are back under the vehicle and we are just going to thread our oil filter back in. We've got all our new seals on there. There we go. Now, if you remember, this was loose. This thing here, I just hand tightened it because I showed you on the bench how that thing worked. So we can see it's actually quite loose, just like that. So we're just gonna snug this one up first. There we go, that doesn't have to be that tight. Now Toyota recommends 25 Newton meters, that's the torque for the cap. So it's actually 25 Newton meters is what Toyota says. So I just snug them up good. There we go, and it's a steel cap, so. The other thing you'll notice too is like this thing is not going to turn off. It's hard enough to turn it in with the seals, so it's tight. So there you go. So that's all done. Now, if you remember, we are just going to go back to our drain plug and see what comes out. So let's take another look at the drain plug. So here's our drain plug. We still had it loose, and let's see if we can get any more coming out. And a little more came out. Not a whole lot more, but some. And that's pretty decent. Okay, that's good. So now we're gonna put our drain plug back in. Actually, let's take a look at the gasket. Should do that. And the gasket's quite a bit crushed, you can see. So you know what, actually, I'll put a new gasket on. So good thing we did a little gasket inspection. I'll go get another gasket and we'll put a new gasket on. Okay, so we let it have a good drain. And I'll show you the difference between the two gaskets. Now, these are the same gaskets. These are factory gaskets. You can see one looks much bigger. The reason it looks much bigger is it's actually squashed, but it's the same factory. These are Toyota gaskets, so they got that blue coating on them. I think they're made out of aluminum on the inside. There's a steel,
and there's some blue coating. So you can see here in the light, I'll just try to get it there. There you go. You can see the ridges on the edges. And this one's a new gasket. So it's important. I reuse them a few times, but once you start seeing a big ridge or you start seeing it like really flat like this, it's a good idea to replace it because it doesn't crush properly and seal. You might get a leak. So anyway, I'll put the new one on, and time to tighten it up. That's it. And then we'll go up top and we'll fill it up and check it. And that's good. All right, so time to fill the vehicle up. So we got our oil filler cap here, so we're just gonna undo that. There we go. Now I want a funnel because obviously I'm going to spill it. I'm no bartender. And these things take very close to 5 liters if not, so we're gonna put most of it in and then we're gonna check. We'll run it quick and we'll check. So we open up our new oil. We have 5W30 synthetic oil. That's what's going in. And that's almost all. So what I do now is I check the dipstick. Now obviously we got to run it and fill the oil filter, but this gives us a general idea of where we are. And I always like to overfill it a little bit on the dipstick because then by the time I start it, it goes down. So if we see here, oh, we still need quite a bit more. So let's put some more in then.
So here you can see I'm just going to put the rest of the 5-liter jug in, and then we're going to start the engine and check it.
All right, so now we're gonna add a little bit more oil. Add another bottle of it here. So we're just gonna pour some more and then we're gonna check. And maybe a little bit more yet. And I think that should be fine because if anything now when it runs down, that's close to 6 liters are in there. I know the camera's probably not gonna pick it up, but yeah, we're good. That's it. Now let me show you what tools I used. I didn't really use a lot of tools. It wasn't necessary for this. Thankfully, we didn't have to take apart a lot of stuff underneath like we do on some other cars. So this one was really easy. Let's go show you the tools and get out of here. So here's the tools I used, just a 3/8" ratchet. Here's the adapter for the oil filter, and then just a 14 mil wrench and tripod underneath. So hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully you got something out of it. I would really appreciate if you would subscribe, trying to grow my channel. It's just a small channel. Any questions or comments, please leave them below. I answer them all. So thank you so much. GarageKing over and out, and I'll see you on the next one.